Hey guys, how's it going? It's Dean from LowLight, and today we're going to be breaking down my microwave meal thriller. So I'm going to give you a basic breakdown on some of the shots that I used, how I got those shots, and some of the creative choices that I made for this, considering that I am a solo shooter. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, we're gonna break down the opening shot, which is myself stepping into the light from the darkness. I actually filmed this quite simply. I was just sitting down on this exact chair in front of my Elgato key light, lighting up one side of my face. I achieved the stepping into the frame look through sound design by making it start in pitch black and then adding sound effects of feet stepping. And then I used a color fade, essentially a fade from black to the close-up of my face. This scene sets the mood for the piece, as it should put you a little bit on edge. As for the background, to get it completely black, all the lights were turned off just to help color reasons. But to completely black out the background, what I did is I used power windows. Now this was the first time I actually used power windows. And you basically create a mask around yourself in the color page of DaVinci Resolve and lower the shadows, highlights and midtones until it pretty much blacks out, and then just feather it out. That's how I got this shot. I really like this shot. This is probably one of my favorite shots of the short. It's really, really tense and really sets the tone for what's to come. This is pretty much like a reveal shot. You notice that the cut happens on the strings, and that's something that I like to do, and something you should do in my opinion. Quentin Tarantino actually says he generally picks his music before he films, and he films to the music. I do something similar, but I love to pick a song or something first and get inspiration around it. And I wanted the cuts to fall on those horror string hits, which is what I did in this instance. As for lighting, it was shot in the dark as usual, and the only light that I had in the kitchen turned on was my light on my phone. And that is side lit so that it casts some nice little highlights in that on the blade. When you're shooting a night or dark scene, you should have lights. I found through numerous test videos that I've done throughout the years that it is easier to make a scene look dark in post than it is to shoot dark. Because if you just shoot dark, then essentially there is just too much grain and noise. So the trick to shooting in the dark like this is to expose your camera as clean as possible. Keep it in its base IO range. And then light the subject. That's how I managed to keep pretty much all the grain out of the shadows. And then if you want it even darker, darken it in post. Don't just darken the scene and then try to brighten it up in post. Doesn't work. How I had this set up is I was obviously on the kitchen bench, and I had the camera locked off on some sticks, tripod, and I put the phone to the left-hand side of the knife, shine the light that way. Choosing the knife scene also adds a form of tenseness and pacing to the story. You know that I'm an angry person, something's about to go down essentially from the opening shot, and then you have the knife reveal that something further is going to happen, further forwarding the plot. The good old stabbing sequence. This was actually pretty fun to film, and quite simple actually. Same concept as the pull away reveal of the knife. It was the camera locked off on a tripod in my right hand, my phone's light, and I was literally holding it up above the food, trying to, angle it on a way so I got some shadows and just make it look interesting, essentially. And then I literally just stand behind the camera, make sure it's somewhat focused, and then I get the knife and I stab down into the microwave food. Now, what really sells the violence of this scene is cutting to the beats, essentially, the harsh strings that are happening. Now, when you are doing an action, there should be a reaction to the action. So this is why I then recorded myself reacting to the knife stabs. And then you cut in between the beats, if that makes sense. So stab on the beat, instant cut to the reaction, stab to the beat, instant cut to the reaction, and then abruptly stop when it stops. The music beats, that is. So there you go, that was a rough breakdown of how I shot my microwave thriller. And it just goes to show that you don't need super fancy lighting or gear to pull off something so simple. And that is the whole concept behind LowLight, is that you can take boring, simple areas or places and make them cinematic. I did it with my camera, a Elgato key light, my phone, and a tripod. And you need some good music and sound effects as well to go along with it. But it's that simple. If you guys enjoyed this, please give it a like, consider subscribing. Check out my other video, which is a mini documentary that I did of my dogs. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later.